Colorado Rockies, the schedule is relentless as they pursue their first ever division crown. Tonight, the Diamondbacks, led by MVP candidate Paul Goldschmidt, arrive at Coors Field. The Rockies are hyper-focused and fully energized for a 20-game sprint to the finish line. This ball driven to center field and deep back. There's our 0-2 pitch. They plan on making it an historic 3 weeks, and no better place to be than a mile high and atop the NL West. It's Arizona, it's Colorado next. Here come the Rockies. Take a good look. You will see it for long. We are set to go. We know you are as well at home. The Rockies and Diamondbacks mid-September, and the Rockies lead the Diamondbacks in the division by 2.5 games. So Arizona in third place. They've been scuffling a little bit of late. They lost 3 out of 4 at home to the Atlanta Braves. Ramon making his way to the mound. It is Purple Monday. You heard a moment ago he'll be working with Tony Walters 18 times this year. Those two have hooked up, and after kind of a slow start to the season, Herman has really come on. And since the All-Star break, he's been one of the elite starting pitchers in the National League, and that's not a story of hyperbole. It's been accurate.
It's been accurate. He's third best in the National League in strikeouts since the end of June. And when we're watching Herman, pay attention to if he has his fastball command, because if he does, he can mix it with the good, strong curveball that has become a great pitch for him. I know Tony Walters wants to use sliders more. When you see him shake it off between the two, it's trying to figure out if they're going to go curveball or slider. Tony likes his slider. Herman likes his curveball.
He's got 2 terrific breaking pitches. League hitting 169 against his slider, 156 against his curveball. Here's the Southwest batting order tonight for Torey Luvello. Pollock, Escobar, Peralta, Goldschmidt. That's quite a foursome up top. Daniel Descalso, the erstwhile Rocky, he'll bat fifth. Steven Souza Jr. Nicomed's having a good year offensively. He's done damage against the Rockies in particular. Alex Avila's behind the plate. Here we go. First pitch of the night. Swung on and missed. A.J. Pollock, 8 for 13 against Herman. I alluded to this before we went to our last commercial break. Pollock, Peralta, and Goldschmidt all have huge numbers against Herman. Herman's a young pitcher. We keep seeing him get better, so it's time to turn those tables around. This is pretty well hit to right, and it's going to go off the scoreboard, and it's going to end up at least a double, maybe a triple. Here's Charlie's throw toward third, and it is a leadoff triple for Pollock. He's now 9 out of 14 against Marquez.
This is what we were hoping not to see for Herman, just making it through the first inning without giving up a run. Four-seam fastball, just nice piece hitting from AJ. Driving it opposite field. AJ's also leading the team with batting average in the first inning, 350 batting average. It's so important for the Diamondbacks to get off to a good start. Their offense has been reeling.
Now Eduardo Escobar, who was picked up around the trade deadline, and he hits this down the left field line. It's going to go foul. You can see the Diamondbacks are coming out of the chute swinging early. First pitch swinging from Pollock. First pitch swinging from Escobar. It's a 43rd triple for Arizona this year. That leads Major League Baseball. A 1 bounce foul. Escobar, career high 78 RBIs, back-to-back 20 home run seasons. He had 21 last year with the Minnesota Twins. .98 on that fastball.
Escobar is a sneaky good player. Not a lot of people know who this guy is because he played in the American League, to Drew's point. But he's willing to take a 2-strike approach. Diamondbacks really like him.
And they like him more right now. He just lined a single to center, and it's 1-0 Arizona. So Herman, who's been lights out, gives up 2 line drives, 1 a triple, 1 a single, and now for the 67th time this year, the Rockies have given up at least 1 in the first inning.
Well, here's Herman for this season, and what's remarkable is he's now given up 80 runs over the course of the season, but 30 of them have happened in the first inning.
Escobar had been 1 for his last 18. Here's Peralta. He had most of yesterday off. He pinch hit. He's nursing a mild ankle injury. Torey Lovullo addressed that today. He said no, he's going to be in the lineup the rest of the way in all likelihood. I mean, that's what time of year it is. Everybody's got bumps and bruises. Peralta's hit .435, 10 for 23 against Marquez. It's just shocking because you know the kind of stuff that Herman has. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yesterday the Rockies got a short start, unusual that they've had that from the rotation. Tyler Anderson's struggles continue. He went just 2 2/3, so the bullpen, 7 different members of the bullpen had to eat up 6 1/3. That's off the plate. 2-1. And this is a double play ball. DJ, perfect feed. Story fires to first. 4-6-3. 2 gone as Paul Goldschmidt comes up. Let's take a look at the Rockies defense presented by Red Robin. Parra in left, Blackman in center, David Dahl in right. Cargo not starting 2 straight ball games. We'll tell you about that in a little while. Tony Walters has kind of become the caddy for Herman Marquez. Kind of calm him down a little bit also. You just tell by his hand movements. Goldschmidt, and that's a little bit below the knees according to CB Buckner.
Birthday boy Paul Goldschmidt, 31 years old today.
Be a free agent after next year. He may be the biggest bargain in baseball. And that's a line drive to center and a base hit. Goldschmidt continues to rake, particularly out on the road. Get this, he's hitting .346 out on the road, just .249 at hitter-friendly Chase Field. Go figure.
A little two-seam that runs inside, but when you're in a good place like Goldschmidt is, you can pull your hands inside. That's a good pitch. Goldschmidt is just hitting extremely well. How about this number? Paul Goldschmidt is the first player since the live ball era, 1920, to increase his batting average to 300 or higher in a season in which he was under 200
after 200
at bats.
Yeah. And back in the latter part of May, he was hitting $1.98. Came into tonight hitting $2.98. He was over 300 at some point during the weekend. 0-1 on Descalso outside, 1-1. A run in, 3 solid hits in the inning against Marquez. You have to be aware of Goldschmidt because he's been a very successful base stealer most years. This year he's only attempted 8 stolen bases, 5 out of 8. He's a guy that would always end up with 20 plus. Descalso in the air to Parra, and he'll reach up and make the catch. A triple by Pollock, a base hit by Eduardo Escobar, and the Rockies have spotted the Diamondbacks, so a 1-run lead. First inning, Charlie Blackmon's red hot. 3 home runs the last 24 hours. Or 48, I guess now. Last 2 ball games against the Dodgers. Southwest batting order for Buddy Black. DJ. Nolan will bat third. David Dahl's in right field, as you saw. Cargo's just fine. He just is 0 for 10 against Godley. He had yesterday off, so he'll get 2 days off. You'll see him back in there tomorrow. Story, Parra, Desmond Walters, and Marquez. The 9 that will face Zach Godley, who's known for having an outstanding curveball. In fact, he'll throw his curveball more than his true fastball. He'll throw a fastball and he'll cut a fastball. But this guy's out pitch is a curveball. Works a lot of deep counts, though. Charlie's 4 for 11 against him.
Here's that arsenal that Drew is alluding to. The fastball he uses at about 32% of the time. Had that with the cut fastball. Now you understand it's about 54%. But the curveball, 41. Hitters are hitting 156 on it last year, about 190 on the season this year.
And twice already, you've seen Charlie square around and you say, well, it's a bluff. If you guys remember, the last time the Rockies faced Godley, there was a comebacker and he threw the ball into right field. Well, it was blocked, but I mean, it was a 50-foot throw and he could not make it. He's got the thing. Not dissimilar to what you see when the Cubs and John Lester are playing. So they may play a little small ball and see how he handles it. This is line to center field and Charlie stays hot. And now the other element of it is how comfortable is he, which he's not, in the running game.
Well, the Rockies want to exploit this, and this is so important for the Rockies to bite back the Diamondbacks. For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch. Obviously, the Rockies are down 1-0, but for the Rockies to return the favor, the Diamondbacks have scored 118 runs in the first inning, most in Major League Baseball. Expect to see Charlie at some point get a big lead. And if he doesn't get a throw over, continues to extend his lead, expect him to steal second base. Godley is quick towards home.
DJ takes the strike. DJ is just 2 for 14 against Godley. Charlie started, and that's a balk.
Oh,
That's one of the worst balks you'll ever see. You talk about a distraction. Charlie took off way early and he stopped. Obviously, the infielders yelled step off, and it just fouled him up tremendously. That's going to stay in his head?
I'm telling you, the Rockies are going to continue to do this. This is something that they picked up when the Rockies were in Arizona. Ian Desmond completely exploited Zach Godley. He's going to go early. They tell step off. I've never seen that before. It almost reminded me a little bit of Luis Tiant.
I have never seen that. Certainly, I've never seen that at the big league level. And the reason it's still an 0-1 count, it was a balk. That was no pitch that went to the backstop. Some fan trying to help out, yell balk again, right?
Godley has pitched extremely well against the Colorado Rockies. In 5 career starts, 3 at Coors Field, he's 4-0.
Godley unbeaten against the Rockies. This is fouled off. Think back to your playing career. Best curveball, right-handed curveball that you saw.
Braden Looper.
Okay, I remember Braden Looper.
Great curveball.
And you had to think, just like a sinker, get it up because it has so much break on it that if you see it around your thighs or even a little higher than that,
it's a ball.
It's a ball, right? Easier said than done.
It is easier said than done.
This could be an issue. And they're going to let Godley, he can't pick it up. I'm shocked that Avila didn't call him off.
He couldn't get there.
Even he couldn't get there. He still was a better option. First and third, nobody out. An infield hit for DJ.
It's a swinging bunt. Godley's trying to make a play. He knows he doesn't want to pick up the baseball or make a throw. Here it is on the Subaru Supermo.
So here's Nolan.
Well, and already, the Diamondbacks pitching coach, Mike Butcher,
that's not good.
He's coming out to settle him down. The Rockies are basically taking the elephant in the room and parading him around the ball field.
That's exactly what they're doing. And the Diamondbacks have lost 7 out of 9. And their bullpen, if you just look at the raw stats, their bullpen, one of the best ERAs in baseball, leads the National League. Their bullpen has been awful lately. In fact, yesterday, this has been a common theme, they had a lead going to the 9th inning. After the top of the 9th, Atlanta led 9-5. Final score was 9-6 Atlanta. They lost 3 of 4 to the Braves in Phoenix. So here's Nolan. A fresh new look Nolan after that long home run yesterday, snapping the 0 for 15. This never gets old looking at this.
Pedro Baez knew right off the bat. And for Nolan, is just staying connected, letting his hands travel back, keeping his weight on his backside, and then delivering the barrel to the baseball. Too many times in the last 2 weeks he's been out on his front foot.
And DJ is hung up right now. Charlie not going to break, and that's going to cost the Rockies.
DJ was hoping that Avila was going to throw the ball to Godley, and that's why DJ took off.
His timing on this was just a little bit off. He said he avoided the tag. Now, did the first base umpire Fielding Cobra say he was out of the baseline? No, he's saying it's a tag. And that's why Buddy wants to know, was it on the tag or did he call him out of the baseline?
Then he called him out of the baseline.
Now he called him out of the baseline after. That's the mechanics on that. You have a 3-foot window, running lane. Cobrath, who is the crew chief, if he says, which I'm sure he is, that he called him out of the baseline, it's not reviewable. So that's costly. First and third, nobody out. And DJ, that'll go down as a caught stealing.
Yeah, you don't want to run yourself out of the inning trying to exploit Godley and his throwing issues.
He just needed to wait a smidgen longer till the ball clearly was going to Godley.
He waited, went too soon. Here it is again. DJ's waiting for Avila to throw the ball to Godley. After that throw, he's waiting, and that's when Avila looked up.
He pumped, and that kind of fooled DJ. One-two. It's a heck of a block by Avila, the former Tiger.
Well, this gives so much confidence to a pitcher when he knows his catcher can block a curveball that goes 56 feet.
Yeah, the thing with DJ also, you can't all of a sudden take that negative play and shut down the game plan. It's
right,
still there.
You got to keep going.
Infield comes halfway now with 1 out. And Nolan strikes out, and it'll be left to David Dahl. Tell you what, this would be a huge victory for Godley if he gets out of a first and third no-out situation. It's a Red Robin defense for Arizona. They are a solid defensive club. Peralta, Pollock, Souza in the outfield. Ahmed is terrific at shortstop. Goldschmidt has gold gloves at first base. David super aggressive typically. He'll pitch way inside. It's 11 games now for David Dahl in his young career that he's batted cleanup. And he's responded with a .308 average. Godley's struggling just to hold on to the baseball right now. He had a chance really to rattle him here in the first.
He was clearly rattled.
Two and 0. Charlie at third, 2 outs. And Dahl fires at a pitch that probably was ball 3. We've said before, and you have to be who you are as a player. David right now is a super aggressive offensive player. I said yesterday or the day before, it's hard to throw him 4 pitches in an at bat.
Yeah, play your game. You have to play your strengths, and sometimes it works for you, sometimes it works against you, and that's why I think when we're watching teams don't try to change personnel anymore. They just try to fill up that type of player. So if you want an extremely aggressive player, David Dahl's your guy.
3-1. Story on deck. Lefties have hit .255 against Godley. Righties .248. Pretty similar. (3-1). Bottom of the first, the Diamondbacks got a run against Marquez in the top half of the inning. Charlie a sharp single to center. He's at third. Charlie trying to take advantage of Godley now with Eduardo Escobar moving way off the line, farther away from third base. Now he's come closer because of that. And a line shot, but it's right into the shift. The Mets got it, and the Rockies failed to score. That is a wasted opportunity. First and third, nobody out. Number 2, time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Last 3 games, Marquez has totaled 33 strikeouts. That is the most ever by a Rocky starting pitcher. Over 3 ball games, the previous record, Pedro Estacio 32. John Gray is prominently listed twice on that grouping. First pitch of the second inning to Souza is down low, ball 1. Pretty good pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Slider's been outstanding for Germán. 25 of those 33 strikeouts in his last 2 starts. Fastball location is huge for any pitcher, and he missed on a couple of locations in the first inning. Though I'll tell you what, the pitch that Goldschmidt hit was off the plate in.
Yeah, he's in a good spot.
DJ with an assist. Nick Ahmed coming up. Nick Ahmed hitting .309 over his last 17. And he's done damage against the Rockies this year. 16 home runs, a career high.
Ahmed's hitting .371 at Coors Field for his career.
Well, again, the Diamondbacks, that's a swing. The Diamondbacks between June of last year and July 10th of this year won 9 straight games at Coors Field. And it bears repeating only because hopefully now that we say it enough, the tide will turn. Arizona's won each of the last 3 season series, and they lead this year against Colorado. And the other notable thing is in September ball games between these 2 teams, it's been a situation where the Diamondbacks have really owned the Rockies. Colorado trying to turn the tables there. There's that pitch just off the plate. 1-2. (15-4) in September in their last 19 meetings in the last month of the season. A strikeout, the first of the night for Marquez. That'll bring up the catcher, Avila. Join in on the conversation tonight. Use Twitter, include the hashtag ToyotaTalk. It's now 10-5 Cincinnati in the 7th inning. At Great American Ballpark.
Season average 164 for Avila, but over the last 29 games is an OPS well over 800. 4 home runs, 15 RBIs, so swinging a much better bat.
1-1 count, 2 outs here for Germán in the 2nd inning. This Diamondback team, Spilly, 30th or last in batting average against right-handed pitchers. .232 average. Been a little hard to figure. They've been a better road team than home team this year.
That's really strange.
You know, the Rockies are 6 over 500 at home, 38-32, and on the road they're 8 over, 40-32. That's really strange for people who've watched the Rockies for years. Usually the road was not a happy place. Last couple of years it's been. And a great inning for Marquez. Good bounce back inning. 1, 2, 3, including 2 strikeouts. We'll go to the bottom of the second. The Diamondbacks up 1-0.
And Desmond due up to bat third this inning. I want to say happy debut anniversary to Ian. 9 years ago in Washington, Desmond was making his major league debut, and it was one for the record books. 1 home run. He drove in 4 wins and an eventual Nationals win. Now, what was interesting is today I was talking to Ian about what he has learned over the course of his 9-year career, and what he said to me was interesting. He said, you know, that baseball is never going to satisfy me, and I think that brings us into a little bit of the way Desmond processes things, and is also a cool reminder to all of us as we can seek after this worldly success and continually want more and more, but oftentimes happiness and fulfillment is right in front of us, and for him, that's his faith, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Taylor. Trevor Story's leading things off for the Rockies in the second. Parra and then Desmond. Rockies had back-to-back hits. Blackman a line shot to center, then an infield hit by DJ. It was first and third because there was a balk mixed in there. And then DJ had the right idea. He wanted to go in the first and third situation when the ball was on its way back to Godley, who has trouble throwing to bases. He left a little early, and Avila fired to second. DJ got hung up. And Nolan struck out. Dahl hit it hard, but right at the shortstop Ahmed in the shift. And Story now 1 for 13 since the 3-homer ball game.
It happens sometimes, guys, after they have so much success hitting the long ball, that their swing gets a little bit longer. They try to muscle up. See if Trevor shortens up over the next couple of bats. The Rockies have never hit Zach Godley well. For some reason, they do not pick up his curveball.
He has a really high walk rate, and because of that, typically doesn't work very deep into games. Parr's had success against him, 4 for 11. And this ball to center field, going back is Pollock, and he'll make the catch. That'll bring up Desmond with 2 gone. When the Rockies score 7 runs in a game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special at Moss and Taco Bell. Desmond, 1 for 4 and a stolen base yesterday. Had a hit and an RBI on Saturday. Double and a run scored on Friday. Those were the numbers against the Dodgers. And he takes a fastball for a strike right at 90. It's about where the Tennessee product lives, Zach Godley. Desmond 4 out of 14 against Zach Godley. Swung on a miss, 1-2. So after the game Sunday, the Rockies losing 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers in the season series. They're 7-9 against LA, and there's 3 more ball games left in Los Angeles next week. You know, this homestand mirrors the last road trip. When San Francisco, the Rockies swept the Giants. Los Angeles, Arizona, and on the road it'll be San Francisco, Los Angeles, Arizona. Called strike 3. Looked like it may have been off the plate. Desmond not happy. And the Rockies are done in the second. They go in order. A couple of strikeouts for Godley. They trail 1-0 going to the third. Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores, and by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. It's going to be gorgeous all week. It's always gorgeous. We're in Colorado. Rockies leading the Diamondbacks leading the Rockies 1-0 with Ryan Spilborghs. I'm Drew Goodman. 9-1-2 in the third for Arizona. Godley, Pollock, Escobar. Fastball, a strike. Godley taps it to Marquez. Does the right thing. Just takes it to the bag himself. 1 out. So Pollock led the game off with a triple off the scoreboard in right, and he would score moments later on a solid single to center by Escobar. Now the two, now I say 3 staples in their lineup the last few years. Obviously Paul Goldschmidt. A.J. Pollock, when healthy, terrific player. And David Peralta's now entered that conversation, Spilly, to be in that classification. I don't know if anybody's Paul Goldschmidt.
No,
but David Peralta's a heck of an offensive player.
He's turned into a guy, career numbers in virtually every single offensive category for him. Sitting in the middle of that Diamondbacks lineup.
He used to hit leadoff, and he was a dangerous leadoff guy, kind of the same mold as Charlie, because he can hit it out of the ballpark. And tonight they have him right in that 3 spot. See the second time through the adjustments that Marquez makes against the Pollocks, the Peraltas, the Goldschmidts. He's ahead right now, 0-2. On the ground is short. Two gone. That'll bring up Eduardo Escobar.
Escobar's a Venezuelan native, originally signed by the Chicago White Sox back in 2006.
And he swings and misses there. Escobar, a switch hitter from the left side, hitting .207 with the Diamondbacks. Go up a little bit there. He's 2 for 2 tonight. So Peralta will come up. Time for At the Dish, brought to you by Dish Network. Slugging percentage early in the ball game. Mike Trout, shocker, he leads everybody at .690. But there's Paul Goldschmidt, and also on the list, David Peralta, who's at the plate. Nolan is 4th in baseball, slugging at .599 the first 3 innings. Peralta grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in the first, and this is wide of first. Good fastball. Home run cut at 97. 0-2. Peralta, converted pitcher. Remember, he was in the Cardinal organization initially. Didn't work out on the hill. He said, let me try my hand as an outfielder. I think I can swing the bat a little bit. He was right.
Torey Lovullo raves about David Peralta and the work ethic this guy has.
Got a lot of leadership characteristics.
Really
as well.
does.
That's high, 1-2.
That pitch above the strike zone, the Subaru strike zone, is the first ball that Germán has thrown this inning. 10 pitches, 9 strikes.
See the damage he's done against right-handed pitching. And he struck him out. Another strikeout in the inning. Much better at the top of that lineup for Germán Marquez. He did give up the base hit to Escobar, but he's settling in. Middle of 3. It's 1-0 Diamondbacks. trailing 1-0. Tony Walters, Marquez, Blackman against Zach Godley. 28-year-old guy who, when he was in college, was known as the Bull. Built like it, 6'3", 240. Fastball's high, ball one. The Rockies yesterday in the 9-6 loss to the Dodgers got great production from Charlie, DJ, Nolan, of course, the home run. They were 6 for 11, 3 home runs between them, a double, a triple, 6 runs scored. The bottom part, not even the bottom, most of the rest of the lineup, 4 through 9, were combined 2 for 24. In this game, the first 2 men up, Charlie and DJ, have hits. Now, obviously, we're very early on. (3-0). Godley wants no part of Tony Walters.
Godley has struggled with leadoff men throughout the season. .380 on base percentage against him. And if the Rockies are going to take advantage of his throwing woes, you'd like to see the Rockies leading off innings with the base runner.
Very top of the zone, a strike, 3-1. And Tony hits it in the air to shallow center.
Fans place a deposit on 2019 ticket plan and guarantee an opportunity at 2018 postseason tickets. For more information, go to Rockies.com/tickets.
Well, I love this time of year because you're scoreboard watching, and in our case, we have the benefit of an extra television in our booth, and it's 10-6 Cincinnati, folks, in the 7th inning. The Dodgers had the bases loaded, 1 out. Yasiel Puig at the plate, and he was up there for like 45 minutes. So it seemed. Outside to Marquez on the 11th pitch of the at bat, he lined into a double play. That was huge because for a moment it looked like here come the Dodgers. They're going to erase what a moment ago was a 6-run deficit. Marquez takes the breaking ball for a strike, 1-1. Herman, he's due to get cooking again offensively. Last couple of starts hasn't produced a hit. 365 a few starts ago, and that's to a retreating Escobar. 2 outs.
Take a look at yesterday's game for Charlie Blackman. Statcast AI is powered by AWS. The first of his 2 home runs, exit velocity 108 miles an hour, traveled 418 feet. His second shot towards right center, about 104 miles an hour off the bat. 428 feet, 21-degree launch angle. That's his 10th career multi-home run game and 2nd of the season.
He is red hot right now, officially. Charlie, 2 home runs, as Spilly showed you yesterday. 3 hits in all in 4 at bats. Hitting .400 his last 10 ball games. Told you off the top, it's a sprint to the finish, literally. 20 games in 21 days. The 20th of the month, Thursday. On the road, the Rockies will have an off day. That's it. Story of 2018. These last 3 weeks, the most important chapter written. The Rockies win their first ever division crown. Inside corner, 2-2.
Well, they're certainly playing like it. They have the pieces to do it. The Rockies are 18-12 in the last 30 games, 6-2 in September.
Played well at home inside the division, which is absolutely necessary. Need to play well out on the road in the division, obviously, as well. 2-2. 3-2.
Disappointing part for the Rockies over the last couple of weeks is that we see them gain some traction. They have a big momentum game, and then it falls flat the next day. And even just looking at today's game, they had a big momentum change in the first inning, and they lost it. So if trying a way to maintain it or grab it back.
Well, he was rattled. Zach Godley was rattled. Right now, Alex Avila is rattled. But again, the sharp single, and then Charlie forced him into an awful balk. And then the infield hit, he couldn't pick up the baseball. It was a little squibber, 20 feet out in front of the plate. All of a sudden, it's first and third. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, had to come out. I mean, that's how rattled he was. Ordinarily, first and third, first inning, big deal. I mean, that happens, right? Your pitching coach not coming out.
Not at all.
Now, he's chewing on his gum with confidence. He's got 2 outs. Club gave him a run early.
When you have somebody on the ropes, you have to figure out a way to knock him out.
It's taking forever right now. Charlie going back out a second time. And he stood on the rubber now 50 seconds without doing anything. Throwing a few more fastballs tonight, isn't he?
Well, the Rockies are on that pitch, but what it does for Godley is if he can establish his fastball, now you have to respect it. Even though it's 90 miles an hour, because of how much he uses that curveball, you can keep the hitters off balance with a pretty standard fastball.
3-2, and that is worked to right, and Charlie will get 2 out of it. Man, you just can't get him out right now.
Nope, he's in a great place.
And that's the game of baseball, because about 2 weeks ago, he wasn't in a great place.
He was not at all. For Charlie, all it comes down to is his head movement. His timing, it's sitting in his backside on his back leg. Reading the baseball. Even on that swing, you can see his head's barely moving. .415 batting average for Charlie over the last 10 games. That includes 3 home runs and 8 runs scored.
See if DJ can produce a 2-out hit to tie up the baseball game. Boy, Godley really taking a lot of time. That's off the plate, ball 1. Well, DJ also heating up in the month of September. He's 10 for 24 on the homestand. He's hitting home runs, big hits, clutch hits, whatever you need. DJ LeMahieu generally provides. A little break yesterday. The ball lost in the sun by Kent. Take any one of those right now. Down the line, just foul. Remember about 2 weeks ago, Charlie was scuffling. DJ wasn't, super hot either. And you looked at their batting average, and both were in the mid-270s. And Charlie's a career .301 hitter. DJ's a career .300 hitter. And you know the law of averages with guys who've been at this craft for a long time. It was set up for, they're going to have good Septembers.
Sure.
They're too good not to, and history tells us that that batting average is going to rise. Well, now Charlie's in the mid-280s. DJ right around that 280 mark.
And that's what you're hoping with the guy on deck and Nolan. But here's your next guy that's going to heat up right at the right time.
I'll give you another guy. I know he's had an up and down year. He's had a lot of big hits. Ian Desmond's been in a funk lately. But again, guys who've done it for a long period of time, they generally are going to hit within a close proximity to what they've always hit. Well, Jorge De La Rosa is no longer with Arizona. He's with Chicago. If he was, He'd tell his teammate Godley, man, you work slow. DJ Wynn. I think that's the right call. 2-2.
As a hitter, at least you can appreciate, even though you don't like the call, no matter what, the home plate umpire pointed to first to at least let it be his call.
Two. This is a big chopper to Escobar, and he got it. We'll take a look underneath. Ooh, that is, we got to slow that down again. Again, as soon as it touches leather. You tell me. This is one of those that I probably won't get turned around based on.
It's worth the chance.
It's worth taking a look at, and that's what the Rockies are going to do. We say that so frequently now that the call ends up standing instead of being confirmed.
So when it's standing, it just means it's can't tell. We'll just leave whatever the umpire called. Well, that is,
I don't know. Again, as soon as it touches leather, the baseball, we're going to try to freeze it. I don't think that gets flipped around. Let me ask you a question about every once in a while guys will move around the box. Escobar, excuse me, Godley's not going to blow it by you. He's got a below average major league fastball, big curveball.
move up in the box.
Would you think about it, Spilly, or you just get so comfortable typically being in the back of the box?
It's a great play if you trust your hands. It also forces you to swing more curveballs, and that's the other aspect, is that you're trying to catch that curveball out in front.
Just seen too many of these, and it always seems like whatever is initially called is what they're going to stick with.
Right.
And I don't know if there's enough evidence to say no, he's on the bag, because it's when that ball touches leather. Again, it doesn't have to be in the back of the glove. Hope I'm wrong. Like the one the other day, Billy, where they're taking a long time in New York studying it.
The Rockies have had 23 overturned calls. Brian Jones has been very successful. Let's see if it's 24. Out.
And we'll get the message in a little bit. It'll be the call stands, I guarantee you that. So the Rockies will leave Charlie in scoring position in the third, trailing 1-0 going to inning number 4.
The fourth, Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado, whose days as competition go way back to 2009. Check this out. This is rookie ball. Nolan and Casper. Goldschmidt in Missoula, Montana. The two were playing in rookie ball, and we asked Nolan if he remembered this moment.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I do. I remember he was a lot bigger, thicker then than he is now. He's like leaned out in great shape. But I remember I was playing third base with him hitting, and I was like terrified. I remember that because I was 18 and he was raking then too. So I was just super scared.
Goldschmidt had come out of Texas State, Nolan out of high school, but it's cool how things have come full circle. The two are now very good friends, talk a lot of baseball, and have played in all-star games together, guys.
Yeah, two of the best in the game. Goldschmidt and Arenado. One out as Goldie lines to deep right. Descalso, he lined to left his first time up.
If Goldie turned 31, how old was he in that picture?
21.
So he's 21. He was 5 years older than Nolan?
22. Nolan's 27. He went after his junior year, naturally, at Texas State. Player of the Year in the Southland Conference. Hit .334 with 18 bombs in 74 games in the Pioneer League.
He was the oldest guy there.
It's all right. It still counts. Hey, big congratulations to, speaking of the Pioneer League, the Pioneer South Division champion
awesome.
Grand Junction Rockies. Jake Opitz, the skipper there. They're headed on to take on Great Falls in the championship of that series. That's foul ball of that league. And it's first time for Grand Junction.
It's great. And that is apple juice. That's Martinelli's, just in case you were worried about it. Majority of those guys are under 21.
Well, see,
unless you had Goldschmidt on your team.
Goldie had the Coors Light in his hand. Everybody else had juice boxes. 3-2. Swung on and missed. Descalso got strikeout number 4 for Herman. 2 gone.
It's so amazing to me that for Herman, just getting through that first inning before he settles down, he gets fastball command that's above the belt for Daniel. Descalso likes the pitches up.
I always like his swing.
He's got a beautiful swing. There's not a fastball that Descalso can't catch up to.
Daniel Descalso, another guy that's gotten better. Solid player, utility guy in St. Louis, solid with the Rockies, got better. There's a strike down low to Souza Jr. Down to the number of injuries this year. Had a pectoral issue. Looked like he went. Yes, he did.
So Goldschmidt was 21 in the Pioneer League. He made his major league debut at 23, that's young. That's pretty good.
Especially moving from the Pioneer League in 2 years to the big leagues.
Consider this. It only took him 315 minor league games to make it to the big leagues.
Herman's rolling now. He strikes out Souza. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 more strikeouts. I'll get that guy a different jersey. AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By Dish Network, better TV for all. And by UC Health, live extraordinary. My man Spilly.
Spillboards. Billboards over the Spillboards. Jersey.
Nolan's going to lead it off here in the Rockies' half of the fourth. And he pops this one up. Goldie will make the catch. The end of the bat a little bit. David Dahl will be next. David with 2 outs in the first inning, and Charlie at third with one hopper, but it was right into the shift where Nick Ahmed had moved to.
Let's see if the Rockies are going to try to play a little small ball with Golly. Try to get back to that approach they had in the first inning. Maybe show a bunt. Eduardo Escobar is playing tight on the third base side, so he's trying to give that protection to Godley. This could be one where you pull it with you.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, how about line the ball to right center field?
Take that one too.
And it's bobbled. David sees that, and he's in a second.
Nice.
Boy, that's good base running. Last couple of starts for David Dahl. Outstanding heads-up, aggressive base running.
You have to keep your eyes up when you're a base runner. As soon as you put the ball in play, you have to consider the next base. This is what David Dahl's looking for. Ball in the gap, seeing how Souza's going to field this. This play never stopped or broke his stride. It'll be a single with an error by the right fielder.
That's an old line that you learn hopefully early on. If you have good coaching, that every time you have a hit, it's not an infield hit, it's an aggressive turn, it's a double until they field it into a single. He's out there tying run with 1 out. Trevor struck out his first time. 1 for his last 13. And this ball line with a hook on it is going to go foul.
One of the best I've ever played against was Trinidad Hubbard. Hubbard has been an outfield roving instructor with the Colorado Rockies for years. And Trinidad, both in winter ball and the major leagues, if he saw an outfielder that kept his head down, he would make it to second. And we talked about this. The Rockies lead baseball going first to third in base running. They've taken the extra bases as well as anybody in the last month and a half.
Love it.
You have to.
Playing the game right.
That's how you play.
0-1 on Story. And now Trevor will have to dig out of an 0-2 ditch. '96 driven in for Story. He's hitting .319 with 13 home runs inside the division. One and two. I think you almost have to go with Godley. Spilly, go back to your approach where you just rest to relax the hands and the forearms, where you just rest the bat on your shoulder until you think he's going to go. Yeah. I mean, well, otherwise he kind of freezes you.
What happens when you rest the bat on your shoulder, you can't swing without naturally lifting up your hands anyways.
Good way to learn to swing the bat properly, right?
It's an excellent way. It's a great tool to teach a kid on how to hit.
On the corner, strike 3. And now it'll come down to Gerardo Parra.
It's the 4th strikeout of the evening for Zach Godley. Catches Trevor Story, maybe looking inside. Right on the edge. Avila wanted that pitch in. C.D. Buckner saw it went over the plate.
Parra hit the ball pretty well to center field his first time up. And this isn't going to get it done. Pretty deep center field, but playable for Parra. So the Rockies get a 1-out runner at second in Dahl, but cannot convert. Still trail after 4. your vote. So here are the 4 pitching matchups in this 4-game set between the Rockies and D-backs. Which are you most excited for? The one you're watching is a great one. Godley and Marquez. Zach Greinke, Antonio Senzatella tomorrow. Patrick Corbin, Big John Gray on Wednesday, Thursday afternoon. Clay Buchholz throwing the ball very well against Kyle Freeland, who has had an extraordinary 2018. There's Free. Top of the 5th inning, bottom 3rd of the lineup for Arizona. Nick Ahmed takes a strike. He struck out his first time up.
All those are good matchups. Corbin Gray one's going to be a slider-thon.
0-2. Speaking of sliders,
it's become a weapon for Germán. That was a pitch that has slowly developed for him.
Well, of late he's had really 4+ pitches, all of them. Fastball, curveball, slider. He's throwing some good changeups. That fastball there, fouled off at 97. Well, the strength of the Diamondbacks has been their pitching. They have a .356 earned run average. Overall, that's 3rd in baseball. And they were 3rd last year when they won 94 games in all of baseball. Team ERA. What's been misleading is their pen, a .330 earned run average, 4th in baseball. But it's the tale of a first half and a second half. First half outstanding. They were in the 2s. Second half, they've taken on a lot of water, especially of late. In fact, listening to Torey Lovullo meet with the media late this afternoon, with Brad Boxberger's struggles, they're going to kind of go in the 9th inning and the 8th inning by committee.
Oh, that works.
That's what they're going to do. They're going to match up. And their other big horse down there, Archie Bradley, his confidence has been shaken.
The Dodgers did a number to that Diamondbacks bullpen about a week ago.
And Atlanta continued it.
It's a game of momentum. It's a game of confidence.
And that's a great pitch. Ahmed has no interest in running to first, so that is 3 straight strikeouts, 6 now for Germán.
This is the curveball that Germán goes for, and this is just the difference from pitches. You have one that goes a little bit east to west, and this one north to south. And you notice where he starts that curveball. This is because his big fastball at 96 miles an hour, how he's able to command it. Now he throws a curveball off of it. So now you understand how he's been able to rack up the amount of strikeouts. 39 strikeouts in the last 4 games.
Strike 1. Avila struck out his first time. Lovullo. And they're not picking up that breaking ball, whether it be a slider or a curveball. 0-2.
They can't, because the fastball's too hard at 96. And the way he hides it with his mechanics, you cannot pick up the curveball.
Checked his swing. Huge crowds over the weekend. Solid Monday night crowd, considering we're well into September, school's in session. Getting close though to when you have to play hooky.
Yeah. I expect Thursday through this weekend, sell out every single game.
Well, Thursday, yes. In San Francisco, you know, that's their issue.
You know what I'm saying.
I always know what you're thinking.
Every game I want sold out.
I just try to interpret for the audience. I thought we were doing a deal with Eugene for you. Coup. That he's going to work for Songwon and for you. That just missed. 3-2. Godley on deck. Wait, just dropped the bat. He dropped 3 baseballs today on the mound, and he just dropped the bat. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Marquez. Number 7, 4 in a row, 5 out of 6.
And he does it efficiently. He's doing it with a short pitch count, only 61 pitches through 5 innings.
And consider the first inning was a rough one.
And the Subaru Supermo, when you throw a pitch 96 miles an hour above a major leaguer's belt, it is a swing and a miss.
There's a slider for a strike. It's funny, I'm looking at the outfield. They've gone Little League. They've all pulled in to within about 275 feet.
Herman could go king in his court right here if he wanted to.
Well, that is 5 in a row, 6 out of 7. He's now retired 13 out of 14. Get the man some runs.
September 28th, come for the game against the Nationals and stay for an electrifying fireworks show courtesy of T-Mobile. All fans will also receive a 2019 magnet schedule courtesy of T-Mobile. A 1-0 Diamondbacks. Rockies hoping for some fireworks, maybe not so fast.
Zach Godley made the last out, so he's still completing his warm-up pitches. The Rockies will have Desmond, Walters, Marquez. They have 4 hits against Zach Godley. They had an excellent scoring chance in the first and third, nobody out. And then in the third, they had a double by Blackman with 2 outs. And then last inning, they had a base hit with 1 out by David Dahl, and he scooted to second when Souza didn't pick up the baseball cleanly. So 1 out runner in scoring position, could not capitalize. That's outside on Desmond. He struck out looking. Desi has swung it great against Arizona this year. He's reached in all 12 ball games, .341 average. And 3 home runs, and this one is headed toward the center field wall on a hop. And Desi will have a leadoff double. 13 games in a row that Ian Desmond has reached against Arizona.
After striking out in his first at bat looking, a 2-seam fastball runs back over the middle portion of the plate. Desmond on the Subaru Supermo. Short, compact swing. He almost wanted it to get kick off
where you are in the lineup. I know exactly what you're thinking.
so you can try to get to third base, because you're asking Tony to get a base hit or Herman.
This is a drive him in situation, not a move him situation for Tony Walters. And listen, he's a cerebral guy. He knows that. It's one of the tricky parts of hitting eighth in a National League lineup. Tony's trying to get a pitch he can drive here. And this is in play. Usually you go, all right, one out, depending on where you are in the lineup, where you think about a stolen base. It's a little tougher because you have an open side for Avila. But Desi is as daring a base runner as the Rockies have, and as aggressive a base runner. And there's your base hit. Desi around third. Pollock just now up with the baseball. And Desmond hit first slide. Top ball game. Tony Walters coming through. He didn't wait long, did he?
No, he didn't. And part of it was Godley distracted by Desmond at second base. Not able to give his full focus and maybe throw the pitch down in the location he wants. Good job by Tony. Trying to do too much. And for Ian, he had to take a step back because it was a line drive. This is great play all the way around. Even give Stu Cole some credit at third base. He waited till the last possible second to confirm with Ian to go ahead and score.
And get this back where Godley has to field the bunt. And he does. Right back to the mound. Godley, nobody will get it. That was so well done by Marquez. Whether he knew it on his own, or it was a Dwayne Espy or Buddy Black or Jeff Salazar whisper before he went up there, you know they told him, just bunt it right back to the box.
It's amazing. It's at times, it's hard to watch because you know you're completely exposing somebody's weakness. But at this major league level, to do whatever it takes to get a win, it's almost like the way that Godley falls off the first base side, and you know he wants no part of fielding that baseball. By the way, the Reds just beat the Dodgers 10-6 in Cincinnati. It's a final.
Had a baby Cincinnati. We're going to go to strength of schedule here in a few minutes and show you something interesting.
Well, bunt again just for fun.
I'm telling you, if Charlie wasn't so hot, you'd think about it. 2 weeks ago, you'd say it's a great play, but Charlie, all he's doing is hitting line drives either off the wall or over the wall. Single and a double tonight. I got to see him swing it.
Okay. Just saying, it's
not a bad thought, though.
Wheels are coming off.
Walters and Marquez on base. 1-1, nobody out. Make it a big inning. And now you're seeing that look that you saw in the first inning. A little bit bewildered.
Godley talking to himself. Nick Ahmed has been in this game for a long time, trying to settle down his buddy.
So there's your updated standing, with the Dodgers falling tonight in Cincinnati 10-6.
I think Buddy Black was asking C.B. Buckner if that counted as a mound visit.
Two and 0. Charlie trying to drop the head on that. Hit it out of the ballpark. Natural pull hitter.
Now Eduardo Escobar has moved off third base. He was protecting the infield grass for a potential bunt, so it's there if the Rockies want it.
3-1. That pitch was pretty good, but it was called a ball. Keep looking out at that Arizona bullpen, you may get some sudden activity. He's had a lot of success, Godley, but he's been mostly a 5-inning kind of pitcher.
It's like Rich Hill. And I'm curious if organizations look at high curveball pitchers as a guy that they want to pull out.
Ball 4, bases loaded.
Just because it's so much pressure on a guy's elbow and on his fingers.
Nice patient at bat from Charlie. So now it's Tony at third, Marquez at second. There's the phone call. And Charlie Blackmon at first. Mike Butcher. We're alluding to the strength of schedule, and we'll show it to you for, at least in my opinion, what it's worth. And it's worth something. I mean, the Rockies will play a difficult schedule because they're going to play the Dodgers again. They're playing the Diamondbacks again. Oh, by the way, they're playing Philadelphia for 4 the last week of the season. The Diamondbacks have a very hard schedule. From here, they're going to go to Houston. They're going to play a 3-game set against the defending world champs on the road. Then they come home and have to play the Cubs. The Dodgers have the 4th easiest schedule. However, this is not college football where there are some matchups, particularly in September, where one team literally doesn't have much of a chance against another. Cincinnati, that's a good lineup, man. Scooter Gennett, Joey Votto. I mean, it's a big-time lineup. Suarez
is having an MVP.
So they just put 10 runs on a very good pitching staff, and the Reds decided underdogs on paper. They won going away. Back here in Denver, our mind shift to DJ LeMahieu. Nobody out, bases jammed in a 1-1 game. And DJ's got to be thinking, he's so smart. Make sure I get a ball up. DJ does hit the ball on the ground a fair amount. Will hit into a double play. He's got to get a ball he can drive. All the pressure on Zach Godley. Silvio Bracho is now throwing in Arizona's pen. Way outside, 2-0. And the Rockies in the right part of the lineup. Desmond started this rally with a line shot, 1 hop to the center field wall, and he scored a moment later on a single to center by Tony Walters. Great bunt by Marquez that went back at Godley, ended up in no man's land. And then the walk to Blackmon. And he's about 1 pitch away from departing. And I don't mean to pile on. There's a lot of pressure on this young man. And he's had a terrific year. He had a great year last year. But it's just like in football, if you have a weak cornerback, on paper, you're going to try to expose it, right?
And you don't feel bad about it.
It's competition. .3-0. And not close. And he fell off the mound both times. That walks in a run. The Rockies take a 2-1 lead. DJ with his 52nd RBI. Nolan coming up, and I cannot imagine that Torey Lovullo will let him face him.
And he's not. Lovullo's coming out with his hook. And I'm not sure Silvino Bracho had enough time to even warm up. Watching him in the monitor up in the broadcast booth, and he threw about 10 pitches. We'll get another 10, but the Rockies are knocking on the door to blow this thing open.
is in the ball game. The Rockies have the bases loaded, 2 runs in. There's nobody out. Nolan Arenado's coming up to the plate. So the bullpen for Arizona, huge strength. The first half at 2.83 ERA, solid save percentage. In the second half, they've been a disaster. 4.55 ERA, and it's worse of late. Their last 8 ball games, they're 0-5 with a 6.91 ERA. The opposition hitting .304 against them. They've walked 13 and 27 in a third. So all the Diamondback fans back in Arizona, they're going, oh no, here we go again. Nolan's 0 for 2. And you know it's so hard for Nolan, but so necessary here. Patience.
You have to be patient. You have to look for a pitch that you can handle. You want a center cut. Doesn't have to be fastball. Something in the middle portion of the plate that you can handle. Bracho last through 3 days ago, when in a third of an inning, issued a walk.
Here's the 1-0. Down the line, foul, bounced over the head of Marquez. Marquez at third, Blackman at second, LeMahieu at first. Silvino Bracho, up and down this year. He was called back to the big leagues on September 1st.
He pitched extremely well for the Reno Aces. That's the Diamondbacks AAA affiliate. 22 saves down there. Excuse me, 8 saves in 22 appearances.
And the Rockies have seen him before. Five career grand slams, if that's on your mind, for Nolan Arenado.
I'll take a single.
Good swing. Nolan's 2 for 6 with a home run against Bracho. David Dahl on deck. David's never seen Bracho.
You cannot let the Diamondbacks off the hook this inning without adding more runs.
You got to get at least 2 out of this. Bases loaded, nobody out. 2 more. And this is slowly hit. No one's got to get up the line. There's one safe. A run scores 3-1. Nolan beating that return throw is huge. First and third, 1 out for Dahl. Now a fly ball and you get another run.
Nolan with the slider away from him. It's almost with the swing pulled him out of the box. Nolan typically very slow to first base. Subaru beats it by a good couple inches.
That's huge. I mean, that is so huge. And you described it perfectly, Spilly. Because he reached for it, he had some momentum leaving the box because he's a 4-4, 4-5 runner up the line. Here's Dahl. Charlie at third base, so you got good speed at third. David singled in his last at bat. 1 for 2. (3-1) Colorado. Dahl took a great swing, waited nicely. (1-1) and a line shot caught by Descalso. Now it'll come down to Story against Bracho.
David Dahl's hit 3 balls hard tonight, has 1 hit to show for it.
Story, the 8th man to come up. Trevor, 1 for his last 14. He struck out twice. That was against Zach Godley.
This is where Bracho excels. He's very tough against righties. 132 against him.
Story got a pitch out over the plate, fouled it off.
Isn't it amazing? 4 nights ago, that pitch was a home run.
Right center field, he would have hit that out. I was just thinking the same thing, Billy, that the game is so tough, and you're talking about, say, oh, it's a game of inches. Football can be a game of inches. Baseball game, it's a game of centimeters.
1/10 of a second, maybe even less than that. Your timing being off.
0-1. This ball in the air, deep center field. Pollock going back, still going back. Gone. Timing back on. 3-1 jack. Trevor Story. There's the big blow.
Yesterday,
32 for Story. 6-1 Colorado.
Yesterday was a foul ball for Nolan where he got it blocked in. This one, a foul ball to Trevor, gets the same pitch and he does not miss it. The Rockies had to take advantage of this inning. 6 runs now.
And now they have, because a moment ago, if Bracho gets Story out, bases loaded after 2 runs were in, and the Rockies get only 1 out of that, there's a little bit of momentum that goes back toward Arizona.
No question.
That they're still in the game.
No question.
6-1 Rockies. How about that Trevor Story? 99 ribbies now for the junior from Irving, Texas. Not even a senior yet.
Next year he'll be a senior.
Next year is his senior year.
Has he applied to colleges yet?
Yeah, no, he's going to stay in grad school with the Rockies. 0-1 on Parra. 32 home runs by a Rocky shortstop by the name of Trevor Story. Matches an old Rocky shortstop by the name of Troy Tulowitzki for the most ever at that position.
I love how Vinny Castilla calls Trevor Thunder Hands. Well, the Thunder Hands this month is 12 hits. 9 of those have been extra bases. Dropping the Thunder Hands on the baseball.
And he did it against a guy who righties were only hitting 132 against, and Trevor's last 10-12 at bats hadn't been good ones. He made an adjustment. Boy, did he ever. This is on 1 hop to Descalso. Rockies entered the inning down a run. They are now up 5, 6-1, going to the 6th. What a majestic flight off the bat of Trevor Story. True story. 6-1 Rockies. refreshing finish. Trevor Story lifts and separates. Ball over the center field wall. 32nd home run of the year. And again, it ties the club record for most shortstop home runs. Troy Tulowitzki back in 2009. There's more to come from number 27. And now back to German Marquez, who's on a roll. He has struck out 5 in a row, 6 out of 7, as he faces A.J. Pollock in the 6th inning. Pollock tripled to open up the night. Scored on a single by Escobar. 2 hitters in, it was 1-0. Goldschmidt had a base hit in that 1st inning. Descalso lined out to end that 1st inning. But there were 4 balls squared up against German. Since that time, he has just outmatched the Diamondbacks. They have 1 base runner. Escobar had a base hit with 2 outs in the 3rd. Here's the 1-1 and a slider in an unhittable location. It's 1-2.
If he stays with these off-speed pitches in that location, and this is a big inning for German. This is momentum swing. You can go through this portion of the lineup and basically end the game. Good tough slider down and away to AJ. Not want to give the Diamondbacks a chance to get back in it. See you later.
He's got same slider and Pollock. The toughest outs in the National League is victim number 9. Spilly, that's 6 in a row.
That's incredible. 6 in a row. German's in a great spot. I told you earlier in the game, if Tony Walters is forcing German to shake off an off-speed pitch, he wants to see slider. Tony loves German's slider.
This is looped to left, and it's going to drop. A soft single for Escobar. He's 3 for 3. And it's 3 of the 5 hits for Arizona. So with 1 out, that'll bring up Peralta. He's grounded into a 4-6-3 double play and struck out. That ends the run of 6 straight strikeouts. 9 in the game for Marquez. We've had this conversation a little bit on the air, but quite a bit off the air, whether it be around the batting cage with people we know in baseball on both sides, not just the Rocky side, but opponents, other broadcasters like an Oral Hershiser knows a thing or two about pitching, a thing or two or a million things. It's fouled off. This young man on the mound, because of stuff, because of aptitude, because of competitiveness, because of a clean delivery, has a chance to be really, really special. A good chance.
He's putting it together.
0-2. Fisted through the left side. So Peralta with a base hit. And that's going to cost 90 feet there. That throw got through DJ. It'll be a throwing error on Parra. 1st and 3rd.
Peralta just fights off a pitch, and where the shift was for the Rockies, it finds itself a hole. This is an ill-advised throw by Gerardo. Really difficult for DJ to try to pick a baseball. Probably throwing at 97 miles an hour from Gerardo.
Well, this is clearly an opportunity from Arizona's perspective to get back in the game. You have Goldschmidt at the plate. Sharp single and a line drive to pretty deep right field. 1st and 3rd, 1 out. 2 soft singles. And it's lifted foul and out of play.
Yeah, you got to be careful with Goldschmidt. He's in a great spot at the plate.
He was hitting .208 through 57 games. He now has the batting average right around 300. He's hit .346 out on the road. That's a strike at 97. It's 0-2. Goldschmidt, early June, those are his numbers up top, and since a 356 average, 25 homers. So it's June 3rd, and you're going to tell Paul Goldschmidt he's going to be an MVP candidate by mid-September.
If you told Paul Goldschmidt that, he'd say, yeah, okay, I know that.
This is a chopper to third, one play, and that's first. And it cost the Rockies a run. Goldschmidt with his 83rd driven in, but the Rockies still have a 4-run lead, and they're 2 outs, and that'll bring up Descalso.
You just didn't want to give the Diamondbacks any sort of glimmer of hope.
We all know how sharp Nolan is. And absolute right play. Just knew the only play was first. He came right over the top and fired a 95-mile-an-hour bullet to Desmond. Got to get this Descalso here. Daniel, a line out and a strikeout. Changeup, 0-2. This, Billy, you've seen it so many times when a guy, just throws a handful of changeups. They often leave it up, and it can get punished. We've seen the handful of changeups the last few starts, always well located by him.
Yeah, he's kept it down in the zone.
0-2. Like the thought there. Slider away, 1-2.
Looked more like a curveball, almost overthrown, but Herman's best curveball, he'll throw it 87 miles an hour.
One, two. When Herman struck out Pollock to begin the inning, 6 straight strikeouts, tied the club record. John Gray's done it twice. Like he did it down in Arlington this year against the Rangers. Two and two. There we go. See, that's too late. You're never going to get that because it would show up the home plate umpire. When there's a delay of 5, 6, 7 seconds and then you point down, you just never get the call.
And the call on the Subaru strike zone was over the plate.
I'm not so sure, to your point, that wasn't just a called strike 3.
Right.
3-2 now on Descalso.
Well, that pitch is in the Subaru strike zone. Pitch number 5.
Well in the zone. See Tony Walters respecting Descalso's ability to hit the fastball. Change-up, sliders, curveballs. Once he got ahead. Two shakes and he settles on a pitch. 3-2. Bounce foul. Came in with the fastball. There's so many of the numbers we can show you on Herman, the season-long numbers, I don't even really pay much attention to because the first, month and a half, 2 months really, Herman was not pitching very well, but since that time, just lights out. Fouled off. So, I mean, for instance, his 95+ mile-an-hour fastball, the league is hitting 313 against it. And you say, boy, that's not very good at all. But the last 8, 10, 12 starts, they haven't done much with it.
No, they haven't. It was a little bit of a mechanical adjustment. He's trying to keep his shoulders parallel to the ground.
Lengthy battle here with Descalso. He was ahead 0-2. And he loses him. So good at bat for Descalso. Another pitch that was very close. And Buddy Black's going to go out and talk to Germán. It's been a longer inning. 2 soft base hits. Goldschmidt, the RBI bouncer to third. Now 2 on, and Steven Souza Jr., who's not had a very good year. It's been an injury-prone year, but he's a dangerous guy. He's got home run in his bat. First walk of the night for Marquez.
I think Buddy's taking a longer time so he can have a quick conversation with CB Buckner, asking where a certain pitch was.
And Buddy's continuing that conversation. It's the only way you can deliver a message, balls and strikes, because if you argue balls and strikes, even we've seen guys thrown out from the dugout. And here's Souza.
The Rockies now making a call to the bullpen.
Jam shot single with 1 out by Escobar. And then David Peralta got jammed also and hit a kind of a 1-hopper, not hit very hard, but it was to the right of where Trevor was playing. So again, 2 soft singles, that's all. And then the long at bat by Descalso. That's a strike right there. 1 and 2. Get him to bite. Souza, like a lot of guys with power, will strike out. We're 30% of the time. League average is 22%. Here's Oberg. Two. Got it. Great slider to strike out Souza. A run for the Diamondbacks. It'll be unearned. And we go to the bottom of the 6th with the Rockies up 6-2. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. 10 strikeouts for German Marquez. What an unbelievable run he's on. Rockies lead 6-2. Going to the bottom of the sixth. Ian Desmond will be first up. He opened the fifth inning with a booming double to center to start a 6-run rally. See if he can do that again here in the sixth. New pitcher on the mound, Matt Andriese. The double switch because John Jay has replaced Souza in right field. .39th appearance for Andriese.
It's been very difficult against lefties. Right-handers, there's a little bit of a cut fastball.
First pitch to Desmond's in there for a strike. Here's the 0-1. And that's off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike on Desmond. So the Rockies ran off Godley after 4+, 5 runs, 7 hits. He walked 2, the last 2 he faced. And he struck out 4, 70 pitches. That is a start, Spilly, that could linger for him.
I think anytime the league sees something like that happen, they pay attention. There's plenty of scouts at the game today. They're all taking note.
Have to. Two balls, 2 strikes on Desmond. So German has struck out 10+ in 3 straight games. The only other Rocky ever to do that, Pedro Estacio. Pedro did that 4 times in his career. Three and 2. Actually, Estacio did it 1 time, but he ended up doing it in 4 straight games in 2000. I thought he did it 4 times. German came into the ball game 164 in the 3rd innings with 184 strikeouts. He was up to 194 punch outs. And a walk.
Get it back by Desmond. Book a suite for any remaining game in September to get the opportunity to purchase tickets to a postseason game. Inventory is limited. Call 303 Rockies today to book your suite or party facility.
Tony Walters. Tony, a sharp single to center to drive in Desmond in the 5th inning. You know, that's going to kind of get lost in the 3-run home run by Story and what other exploits the Rockies throw out there offensively tonight. But that was one big at bat. It was only 1 pitch in length, but again, Tony has swung it better of late, but the number's very modest, and that's probably kind offensively. The pitcher behind him, the Rockies at that point trailing 1-0. It was a drive him in situation, not just move Desmond to 3rd.
He wasn't looking to bunt. He was looking to roll over to 2nd.
And to tie up the game there very quickly. That was huge.
Tony is hitting better over the last 2 weeks. We've seen him shorten up his swing. He's gotten more opportunities to play. Last 11 starts, and with today, he's hitting well over 250.
Well, I can't imagine, and we've seen him now against lefties too when German's on the mound. I can't imagine. You know, Buddy's not necessarily a big, hey, you're this guy's caddy type of manager. In this particular case, the way German's throwing, and it's been in concert with Tony Walters, When Herman goes out every 5th day, you can guarantee Tony Walters is going to have the gear on. Opportunity for Desi to be aggressive. Not that he is ever not aggressive. Rockies are 32 out of their last 34 swiping bags. That's outstanding. He takes off, pitch out, throw to second. Got him. Well, Avila, whether it came from him or from the dugout, they guessed right.
It's only the 23rd caught stealing on the season for the Rockies. They have 88 stolen bases on the year. Took a pitch out to get Ian. For Lovella looking at Ian at first base, taking a chance.
Go for the Diamondbacks of late. They've lost 7 out of 9, 11 out of 16. And they've lost some of those emotional games, some of those, as we like to call them, kick in the gut games, where you think you have the game sewn up. 8th, 9th inning, pretty significant leads blown by the Diamondbacks. And they're big guys, they're veteran guys. Archie Bradley had a rough go of late. We were talking earlier, Brad Boxberger has lost his closer's spot. 2-2 on Walters. And Tony stays hot.
Good swing by Tony. He's just staying within himself. He understands how pitchers are going to pitch him. They'll look at the back of his car and see he's hitting 172. And make sure they don't walk Tony. So he's going to get pitches to hit. It's maintaining your approach that's under control. He also moved his hands up a little bit. It allows him to get that barrel so it stays on top of the baseball.
Not as low as it was.
Now he gets to have a nice conversation of hitting with Goldie at first. That's fine.
Hit right at 300 his last 11. That's a strike. Marquez laid down a bunt in that 6-run 5th inning, and I assume he did it on purpose. Right back at Godley. Godley couldn't field it. Escobar came charging in. It rolled off to the left part of the dirt of the mound, went for a hit. It's fouled off. You had an interesting conversation this afternoon with Drew Butera. The Rockies picked up recently from Kansas City, won a ring with Wade Davis in Kansas City. Comes from a baseball family. We've discussed that before, and I said, what are you seeing in this clubhouse in comparison to what you enjoyed in Kansas City during those back-to-back World Series seasons? And he said, I love the makeup of this team. He said, first of all, it's really, really talented. He said, but every day there's a singular focus to win a ball game that night. And that's going to turn into a double play. That's smart play. Herman kind of gave up on it, assuming that it was going to be caught. Goldschmidt noticed that. He let it drop. And then it becomes a very easy double play.
Well, Tony is complaining that he got pushed in the back. Notice Descalso. There's no reason for him to move. Oh, he's stepping on his foot. That's what happened.
A little different looking. We go to the 7th. The Rockies up 6-2. Here's our Kubota pitching performance of the night. Germán had a tough first inning. Since then, he's been simply outstanding. 10 strikeouts, third straight ball game with at least 10. 2 runs allowed, 1 of the runs unearned. He's still out there to begin the 7th inning. He'll face the bottom third of the order. It'll be Nick Ahmed, Alex Avila, and John Jay. Foul ball. Oh, he was trying to get it. Now the call again, it's a foul ball because C.B. Buckner has the call on fair or foul. You saw the first base umpire Field Cobra say he was out. I mean, he's worried about what's going on at first.
Yep, it's foul.
Field had an interesting call a moment ago, and when we go back and look at that, so Goldschmidt lets it drop, and once that happens, and of course Tony's going back to the bag assuming it's going to be caught, he can stay at first.
Right. This is a bad play. This is not a well executed play at all by the Rockies. Germán, he should always be running. Can't assume he's going to catch it. But Tony at first base, it looks like he steps on Descalso's foot again and comes off the bag.
See, right here he's got his toe underneath. If he just stayed there,
if he stays there, he's fine.
He's fine. And then he went. Strange. This is fair, and Nolan a perfect throw to get a guy who can run, and Ahmed 1 out.
If there's any concerns about Nolan's arm, it's shown tonight, making a good overhand throw earlier in the game. Here's another one again. He's starting to use his legs on those throws. Pay attention to his hips. Watch how they spin to make sure he gets the arm to come through. And the great aspect too for the third baseman, when you learn to throw from a different arm angle on the run, you have to learn how to play your fade, your personal baseball's fade. It's like if you golf and understanding the trajectory of your throw.
Well, I think any athlete well into the season will tell you they're not 100% anymore, right? But the arm's fine because he demonstrated it on that throw. He demonstrated it, as you mentioned a moment ago, when he had to come over the top on the chopper by Paul Goldschmidt. Alex Avila with 1 out. Rocky shift with Avila. 94th pitch is a strike. One of the differences for Marquez this year from his first year in the big leagues, his first pitch strike percentage last year was 59.8%. That's below league average. This year it's jumped to 64.2%.
That changes the entire aggression mentality of a pitcher. If you're commanding strikes and throwing a lot of strikes to a hitter, you toss him off.
Well, couple that with if you're ahead, if he's ahead of you, boy, it's a handful. The league's hitting just 150 against him.
Yeah, you're panicked. The second he gets first pitch strike on you,
you're in a ditch.
Great.
He's ahead right here, 1 and 2 on Avila. And that could have been strike 3, 2 and 2. Strike 3 right down the heart. Strikeout number 11 for Marquez.
For Germán, that looks like the changeup. Yep, circle changeup for Germán and a little bit of fade action back. This cut catches Avila off guard.
John Jay, tough hop. What a pickup by Story. Inning over. And Herman applauding off camera. Trevor Story's going to wait for him, give him a glove 5. That's a great play. We go into the Rockies dugout. There's the handshake. Buddy Black, Steve Foster. I'll tell you what, that kid is turning into something else. 1 earned run over 7 innings, 6 hits, 11 more strikeouts, 1 walk. Charlie Blackmon in the bottom of the 7th with the Rockies up 6-2. Fouls off the first delivery from Matt Andriese. Marquez's new ERA. Remember how bad the first 2 months were, how tough a run it was.
There's a point where people were talking about his position in the rotation.
Well, it's pretty solid right now. He has a 3.94 ERA after a really difficult start. 9 consecutive quality starts, and they've been better than that. They're 9 consecutive outstanding starts. And think about how tonight started. You'd probably say, hey, okay, maybe he's due for a clunker, right? Ball was hit hard against him in the first inning. And then he said, that's enough. Rockies love to add on. Up 6-2. Got the right man at the plate. Charlie, 3 for 4 last night. He's 2 for 2 in a walk this evening. Third pitcher utilized by Arizona. It's Matt Andriese. They went through a boatload of pitchers in the 4-game set against Atlanta. No rest. Now they're at altitude, etc., etc. More pressure the Rockies can put on Torey Lovullo. And I know it's September, you have more arms down there, but that could benefit them later in this series.
No question. Andriese was a late July trade between Tampa Bay and the Diamondbacks. Andriese has some time spent with the Rays organization as a starter. Originally drafted by the Padres in the 3rd round from UC Riverside. Good to see a UC product in the major leagues.
There's another base hit for Charlie. Pitch away, go away.
He's swinging a magic wand. There's nothing better as a hitter when you know that you're locked in. If Charlie's locked in. This pitch is away from him. It's a natural cut that Andriese throws. Just pokes it the opposite way.
DJ last night, solid night. A double and a triple. Tonight, infield hit. He walked in the 5th with the bases loaded to drive in his 52nd run of the year. Good pitch at the knees for a strike. So German Marquez, who won 11 games last year, he had 11 wins coming into tonight, in line for his 12th win. Folks, he will not turn 24 until late next February during spring training. Young kid from Venezuela, picked up from Tampa. The Corey Dickerson trade. This ball's line to right. This will drop, and going first to third is Blackman. Here's DJ towards second with a double. Here come the Rockies again. When those two guys are rolling, Spilly up top, Rockies are going to be tough to beat.
Well, the offense just starts to fall in line when you have two guys at the top of the lineup consistently on. Slide it down the way. This is a good play from John Jay. Very easily that could have got to the wall. DJ heads up base running, keeping an eye on John Jay, who tried to get it in quick. The Diamondbacks are going to take no chance facing Nolan in a situation second and third, nobody out.
Yeah, and that's right on right, but they're going to go right on left, but try to set up a force all the way around with Dahl at the plate. Second time in the last 3 innings the Rockies have enjoyed the bases loaded with nobody out. And the Diamondbacks are still going to shift, even though the bases are loaded. Really odd looking from, behind home plate. Ball 1 on David. He has hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. He has only 1 hit to show for it. A smash to short into the shift. A sharp single that he turned into an extra base on a bobble by Souza. Then he lined out to Descalso. You could really turn out the lights here.
Yeah, you can, but the matchup favors the Diamondbacks. Andres has been very tough against lefties.
David Dahl showing patience. Spits on 2 borderline pitches. He's up 2-0. Takes a deep breath.
Righty's hitting close to 290 off Andres with 9 home runs. Lefty's 175.
2-0 on Dahl. Bases full of Rockies. Nobody out in the 7th with Colorado ahead 6-2. Got a pitch. Center cut. 2-1. Blackman a single. He's at third. DJ a double at second. They wave the white flag at Nolan. He's at first. This is as patient and at bat as we've seen David take.
I was looking at some numbers for David Dahl as far as swinging, because we were talking about how much he swings. A lot of the guys with enough at bats, David Dahl has the highest swing percentage. And of all players on the Rockies team, 57% of the time he's swinging at a pitch.
He's in a great count here. 3-1 with the bases full. And it's 3-2. Andres certainly takes a lot of time. This ball high and deep right field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Grand slam, David Dahl. patience paid off. 10-2 Colorado. First career slam for Dahl. Will not be his last.
10th home run on the season. Check out the finish. Check out the follow through.
The only thing better than a 3-run jack that Trevor Story hit earlier is what you just witnessed. Inside on Trevor, ball 1. Rockies were up 3-1. Story in the 5th inning. 1 for his previous 15. And then he unloaded a 3-run home run to deep right center. And now Dahl with the grand slam. Everybody eats well tomorrow. Everybody gets tacos. The Rockies have eclipsed the 7-run mark. Do not forget to go to your participating Taco Bell location between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell.
Is David Dahl swing pretty or what?
Gorgeous. 10 home runs now, 28 driven in for Dahl. This is in the air, playable for John Jay. That's the first out of the 7th inning. That'll bring up Parra.
Well, I mentioned just how difficult Andres is on lefties. He's given up 3 home runs against him this season, but on the Subaru Supermo, here's the pitch, down and in. David Dahl with the 2-hand finish. 102 miles an hour off that bat, 415 feet.
A reminder that the Dodgers played in Cincinnati tonight. They lost 10-6 to the Reds. Four RBIs, a career best for David. Outside. Cargo describing his home run to him.
Hey, Brandon Stokely watching some Rockies baseball tonight.
Yeah, I saw Stoke earlier today. He is a huge Rockies fan. I know he's camped out with his son right now. He doesn't miss a pitch. 2-0, and this is softly hit to left. This is going to drop in front of Peralta. Parra with his first hit of the night. He's on with 1 out in front of Ian Desmond. Well, David Dahl was a first-round pick, high school kid out of Alabama. When he came to Coors Field for his workout, a good friend of ours has worked for the Rockies as an associate scout for a long time, and he runs the Rockies scout program. Boys have played for Wayne Dolan. And Wayne told me the other day, and Wayne pitched for a long time professionally, and he said one of the most impressive workouts he's ever seen was David Dahl's. He said number 1 was Bryce Harper's. Saw Bryce Harper work out. Saw Bryce Harper actually work out as an 8th grader. He said, but then probably the next best workout he ever witnessed was David Dahl at Coors Field, working out for the Rockies pre-draft. Hitting balls in the seats. He ran a great 60. He could throw. Whippy bat.
He has every tool that you could ever want. Sweet, pretty swing. Runs well. We've heard comparisons of David Dahl. You don't want to ever throw kind of lofty expectations, but you hear Larry Walker's name tossed out. Carlos Gonzalez's name tossed out as a comp because of the skill set.
His whole deal has been staying healthy. And he's had some freakish injuries going back to when he was in the minor leagues and the ruptured spleen and the removal of his spleen. There's a base hit for Desi to center field. Parra will stop at second.
You said it earlier, Drew. Desmond's been scuffling a bit over the last month, but tonight, just the way he's worked a walk, hitting a double in right center field, another hit to right center field, pulling his hands inside tight. Ian's at his best when he's driving the ball to center field, right center.
Well, this guy's so mentally tough. I mean, what he's dealt with the last 2 years. Same attitude every day coming to the yard. Here's the in-game box. That's pretty. A lot of guys contributing up and down the lineup. Rockies with 14 hits now. Tony swung it great tonight. There's another base hit. Here's Parra coming home. No throw. Rockies have 11 runs. Tony Walters 3 for 4. The Rockies, Spilly, are going to hit around again. Ryan McMahon is going to hit for Marquez.
Keep piling on. Check out how the ball flight is. You know you hit the ball extremely well when you see the ball flight go up the middle and fade into the opposite field gap. That's keeping your hands inside. That is the perfect, ideal ball flight for Tony Walters, for his type of swing.
Again, you keep putting pressure on the bullpen for Arizona, where they may have to utilize additional arms. They're not afraid of throwing a Descalso at you also in a blowout. 11-2 Rockies. And from the Rockies bullpen perspective, you can stay away from Ottavino. You could probably stay away from Oberg now. You can certainly stay away from Wade Davis.
You stay away from your
plus side guys.
Plus side guys. I want to show you Tony's swing because he's in a good spot. He's quiet at the plate, but I'll try to point out, show you the fade of his ball flight after he squares it up. So you see he pulls his hands inside. You can see the ball spinning towards the opposite field gap. And as a hitter, you want to have either backspin or that type of flight where you know you're cutting the ball in half. And the reason why is it's telling you your bat is now on plane and it's in the strike zone.
Well, the 3 hits is his first 3-hit game of the year. It's the 8th time in his career he's had 3 in a game. So McMahon fouls off the first delivery. Last time the Rockies, Spilly, had 10 runs in a game was August the 17th. So this is just wonderful to see. Especially considering when the Rockies came to bat in the bottom of the 5th, folks, they were down 1-0. They scored 6 in the 5th. They've added 5 here in the 7th. It's just 1 out. 1-1 on McMahon. So there's Chris Russin up, and a little earlier it was Oberg and Ottavino. And I know it's one game and it's not over, but Arizona, even though they won 94 games last year, and this is a high quality team and they're far from out of it by any stretch, but their psyche has to be pretty fragile with what's transpired the last week to 10 days, right?
Of course it is. You start adding up games once you start falling farther and farther back of the pack. You start adding up the ones that you should have had. The Dodgers game, the Mariners game they had about a week ago. Several of the Braves games that they had won. And they start to add up. And we realize it. Look, there's 20 games left. That's it. Can't make those games up.
This is a swinging bunt, third base line, high throw, safe at first. McMahon That'll be a base hit, and they're loaded up again for Blackman. We started this inning with a base hit to left.
That swinging bunt, as a hitter, you do not feel sorry for it. You love it. If you're the Rockies, continue to pour it on. Make sure you give that high quality at bat.
And that'll be all for Andries. Velo's going to double switch. Discalce is probably looking in. Am I getting the call?
Yeah, look, Lovella walked out with the glove.
Yeah, this is going to be Discalce, I bet you. He's already made. See, Daniel's made how many appearances this year? 2. I've never seen this before. Have you ever seen the manager walk out with a glove?
No, a glove and a helmet.
This is a first.
I don't.
Is he giving the helmet to Andries? All right, it won't be Discalce. I don't know why he has the helmet and the glove. Jimmy Sherfy's coming in. It's getting crazy. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Beautiful night in the Mile High City. Made prettier by the Rockies' 11-2 lead. Chris Stewart's now behind the plate. Jimmy Sherfy's on the mound. Bases loaded, 1 out. Charlie's at the plate. He drives this to center field. This will get another run home. Tagging and cruising home is Ian Desmond with the Rockies' 12th run. Charlie tonight, 5 plate appearances. 3 for 3, a walk and a sac fly. That RBI is his 62nd. The Rockies are up 10. 11th guy to hit in the inning is David John LeMahieu. He's 2 for 3 and a walk tonight in an RBI as you look at Jimmy Sherfy's numbers. Up and in.
That's not a purpose pitch. Sure, if he didn't look to be trying to throw at DJ. With the 10-run lead, you can understand the optics of it.
Yeah, doesn't look good.
Nope.
Late on the arm side again, 2-0. First and third, 2 outs. Tony at third, McMahon at first. 3-0. Or a betting man, and a strike shows up beyond this pitch. I'm betting on DJ. Let's talk about how he plays with a chip on his shoulder. Nobody likes a ball at their coconut.
Nope. Well, you almost talk about this. Anytime you have a pitch up and in that forces the hitter off the plate, it's almost like giving them a Red Bull.
Yep. 3-1. There's your base hit. Another run for the Rockies. 13. There's not a tougher guy than DJ LeMahieu. Quiet, confident. He is a championship level player, always has been.
And the Rockies just have taken on almost the quiet personality. This Rockies team isn't extremely vocal. It's not a
rah-rah team.
It's not a really rah-rah team, correct. They do their work. They let their play show up on the field.
How about this? You know, all year the Rockies have had a negative run differential despite being well over 500. And with the big lead tonight, they're back to even. Are you a run differential guy?
No. It tells a story, but it doesn't tell the full story. There's so many metrics out there. The one that's most important to me is looking at the amount of walks that your team gives up compared to the amount of strikeouts your pitching staff, and then vice versa as hitters. How many times do you strike out? How many times do you walk? The teams that are the best at, as a pitching staff, limiting walks, striking out, the Rockies do that fairly well. The offensive approach, same thing. And if you look at another number, one-run games, the Rockies are 24-17.
Nolan not happy with that. He's called out on a check swing, but the Rockies have a huge 7th inning to go with their huge 5th inning. David Dahl, he got the big highlight, a grand slam, first of his career, his 10th home run of the year. 13-2 Colorado, a 7th spot in the 7th. Alexis, look back. Well, after giving up a run in the first, Marquez was just brilliant. Another 7 outstanding innings. He struck out 11, walked just 1. Rockies broke it up in the 5th inning. 6 runs, 3 on 1 swing of the bat by Trevor Story, his 32nd. And then for good measure, David Dahl on a 3-2 pitch. A grand slam, 5th Rockies grand slam this year. The Rockies were not done in that last half inning as they went on to score 3 more times. Changes for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon will get the rest of the evening off. I think he deserves it. Raimel Tapia's in center field. Nolan will take the rest of the evening off. Ryan McMahon, who had an infield hit, will stay in at 3rd. And Chris Russin will be asked, I'm sure, to get the last 6 outs probably, but we'll see. He'll be asked to get at least 3 here. Top of the 8th inning. Pollock, Escobar, and Peralta do, but this is not Pollock at the plate. They're going to go to their bench. C.B. Buckner's had to cross out a lot of names.
Well, every time I see Socrates Brito, I think back to Vince Scully. Vince Scully loved it.
Great name.
Every time Socrates would come up to the plate.
And the first pitch in there for a strike. Well, we've had a week where there's a base hit. Long run for Parra, and Brito has good speed, but it was ill-advised. Man, oh man. That will not endear you to your manager. You're down by 11 runs, and yeah, hustle's always appreciated, but you're down by 11 runs, and you got thrown out, as Vince Scully would say, from you to me.
Well, Parra earlier in the game made an ill-advised throw.
This is perfect.
This one's sweet. Nice play by DJ, making sure he puts the glove. You almost have to stick your nose on a play like that, knowing that the base runner's coming in cleats up.
And this is an easy play. Chris Owings will get thrown out. 2 gone on 2 pitches. Peralta's not going to hit here either. They're going to get everybody out of there with the Rockies ahead by 11 runs. This is Ildemaro Vargas. Gotta love the expanded rosters in September. Might as well be March 10th instead of September 10th.
I like that Vargas just rolled up. He's a switch hitter. Hit really well for the Reno Aces. 311 on the season. 31 doubles. Was an all-star as well.
Russin ahead 1 strike. Russin ahead 2 strikes. We're talking about run differential. Spill, you know the last team to make the playoffs with a negative run differential?
Bet you I can guess.
Go ahead. What do you got?
I remember seeing it a couple days. How about a bat differential?
Yeah, well, the bat's gone and the inning's over for Arizona, and that gentleman is going to take a souvenir home. The Arizona Diamondbacks, 2007. Remember that year?
We swept them.
started slowly, but now the Rockies have 13 runs, all in the last 3 innings. Bottom of the 8th inning. David Dahl, the last time we were talking about David, he was trotting around the bases with a grand slam. He'll lead things off against Jimmy Sherfy. Keep seeing that name, and I want to say Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
That was a good wrestler, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Off the top rope.
Stevie Buckner is ready to go. Now David Dahl will step in against Sherfy. David 2 for 4. Good swing there. All kinds of changes. This is truly a spring training game now. Here we go. Kiblahan's now in left. John Jay has moved to center. Socrates Brito is in right.
Philosopher.
The Greek philosopher. What a week we've had as you see the rest of the changes. Somehow we've worked into the broadcast. This is with the help from Corey, naturally. We've worked in Homer. We've worked in the Iliad.
That's right.
And now we've worked in Socrates.
Socrates.
8 a.m. Greek philosophy. Don't do that. Where's the baseball? Sherfy finds it and throws out. Dahl. He's hit it hard all 5 times
all
tonight.
5 times for David Dahl. He's had a quality at bat. He'll take 2 for 5 with the grand slam, but he would love to be 5 for 5 with the grand slam. Who wouldn't?
Absolutely. Garrett Hampson, who's going to pinch hit for Trevor Story. Stay in the game and play shortstop, I'm sure. Breaking ball for a strike, 0-1 on Garrett Hampson. Haven't really seen him yet in September, but Spilly, there's going to be a time and place where the Rockies are going to need a pinch runner late in the game. And that's when you very likely will see Garrett Hampson trot out of the dugout.
No question. I was teasing Hampson. The last time we saw him, he had number 7. Number 7 is the number Matt Holliday wears now. So by the time Hampson got called back up, he had a new locker and a new number on his locker.
He didn't say a word.
No. Well, you walk up to Matt Holliday and say, "I want my number back."
Hampson strikes out. 2 outs. Matt would look at him and say, "I've had bigger sandwiches than you. Get away from me."
Enhance your next game day. Yeah, you wouldn't say that. He's too nice. Enhance your next game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today.
Sherfy's going to come out with 2 outs. 13-2, the Rockies leading, 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the 8th inning. Gerardo Parra, who's 1 for 4, will come up, and Yan Lopez on the mound. Good year at Double-A. Second major league appearance. His first appearance yesterday against the Braves. Big arm, 97 with that first heater. It's 0-1.
It shouldn't surprise us anymore anytime we see a young pitcher, relief pitcher, come into a ball game touching 97.
This is on the ground. The second bobbled, and still plenty of time on the right side for Vargas. So we'll go to the 9th. The Rockies comfortably ahead. First of 4 against the Diamondbacks.
Ninth inning, leading 13-2 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hello everyone, Jenny Kavnar, Corey Sullivan, and Jeff Houston getting ready for the Toyota post-game show. Stomp on the Snakes, or what did you say?
Well, I said finish him, which was going to lead me to my next thing, which was, which finishing move did you like? German Marquez, also known as Sub-Zero in the 7 innings and 11 punch-outs. Johnny Cage, who got the three-run homer, or Scorpion, who had the grand slam.
Yeah.
Scorpion.
Go with it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys. You are
That's
too
Mortal
much.
Kombat. Come on.
Well, I clearly don't know that, but there's plenty more of those references to come on the Toyota post-game show, so you can play along with us. Drew, I'm sure you definitely did not get that either.
I didn't get that. I wasn't paying attention, you guys, but I'm paying attention to one thing,
okay.
Jenny.
What's that?
And I want to talk to Corey, because Corey will let you in on a little secret. We've allowed Corey to, or Corey actually has assumed this duty. He picks our outfits every day. If whether we're gonna wear suits or we're gonna wear polos.
Rip his head off.
Today, or actually yesterday, Corey said we're gonna break this up a little bit. We haven't worn the purple polos in a while. Guess what we're wearing tomorrow?
All right, that was the discussion on the way down here. It's a done deal. Purple tomorrow.
Purple polos.
Rally purple, baby.
All right, let's go.
It worked pretty well tonight.
Does it mean we have to wash these tonight, or?
Well, you be consistent with how you normally are. You don't have to wash them. Pat Valleca is at shortstop now, so I gave you Hampson at shortstop, but Garrett's going to go play second. And at first base, Drew Butera. And that's the only other change that on the field, other than we have a new pitcher. Sam Howard's going to get a little work here in the 9th inning. Chris Rusin, a 1-2-3 8th inning. Christian Walker is going to hit for Arizona. Honestly, this looks like day one at Salt River Fields. The two teams that both call Salt River home, the Rockies and Diamondbacks. The only thing we haven't seen is like number 85 trot out on the field. We got a 61 on the mound, though. Walker steps back in. And the 0-1 from Sam Howard.
Have to remind yourself, this is only Sam Howard's second major league appearance. The last one was June the 10th. We still have those butterflies. Maybe not everybody on the field, but for some of them on the field, this is important.
Absolutely. 25-year-old. Cartersville, Georgia. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball down the line. McMahon, great play on the throw. He's got him. What a play by McMahon. Seen another third baseman in a Rockies uniform make similar plays.
That's what I love. You're up 11 runs in the 9th inning, and you're still playing hard. This play by Ryan. You set your feet.
Get to see the arm a little bit, too.
Yeah, you get to see it. Well, most importantly, too, for infielders, when you have that long throw, to really make sure you have a good, solid grip.
Oh, and 1 on Patrick Kivlahan. Sam's slider's a little outside. Sam went to Georgia Southern. He's a Georgia kid through and through. Still lives in Cartersville.
So him and Paul Egan's get along.
To get along famously. Well, Tyler Sanders, too, the assistant clubhouse manager for the Rockies. A Georgia kid through and through, and a Bulldog. 1 and 2 on Kivlahan. Got a story on Sam. This ball sharply hit up the middle, a base hit for Kivlahan. 1 out, 1 on. And that'll bring up Chris Stewart for his first at bat.
Well, if you're looking for number 89, you could probably get that jersey at Fantasy Camp. If you've ever dreamed of becoming a Colorado Rocky, sign up for Fantasy Camp now, taking place at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick, January 28th through February 1st, 2019. Visit Rockies.com/fantasycamp for details.
Well, you can't miss it because you go down there and Spilly and Sully
we'll be
holding court every night from 8 till the wee hours.
Yep.
Stewart takes outside. So Sam Howard's brother Jack played golf right down the street at the Air Force Academy, and he flies F-16s now. Thank him for his service.
Has Sam ever flown in an F-16 with his brother?
I gotta ask him.
Because I would assume if that's my younger brother and I've taken you up in my plane, we're doing loop-the-loops, and
he's gonna make his brother
make you pass
puke.
out.
Yeah. Both. Do you have any desire?
Nope. I mean, yes, I do, but I know I would pass out the whole time.
I don't know if this is in the air to left. Carr's got it 2 outs. I don't know. That would be a wild, thrilling deal, but on to what's going to transpire tomorrow, and that is a matchup between Antonio Sensatella and the guy who's had a marvelous career, Zach Greinke. Greinke in his last outing got knocked around pretty good. There's Senza. That's a final on the north side. It's going to be a final here also. The Cubs lost to Milwaukee. It's only 1 game difference now in the Central. Tapia makes the catch, and the Rockies with a decisive, emphatic statement in game 1 of this 4-game set between Colorado and Arizona. They blow out the Diamondbacks 13-2. A new career best 12th victory for German Marquez. Zach Godley takes the loss. The Rockies scored 6+ runs in 2 different innings for the first time since 2016. And more importantly than anything else, the Dodgers lost their 1.5 games in front of LA. They're 3.5 up now on the Arizona Diamondbacks. What a night. Plenty to do out in center field. We get you there right now. Here's Jenny and the gang. Jenny, all yours.
All right, Drew, thanks so much. 13 runs feels mighty fine, but don't forget about the performance from German Marquez to put the Rockies in a great position.
He did 11 punch-outs, but my goodness, did this offense show up and sweep the leg.
And they finally did it with the bases loaded, nobody out. They had that kick in the leg. It's like
no mercy,
no
Sensei.
mercy.
No mercy. Toyota post-game shows coming up next.